In the 1950s and 1960s, there were very few opportunities. So this is why secret societies became an attractive alternative option, because they offered a sense of community and income. So it was appealing.
A lot of crimes tended to be property crime, some form of bodily harm, and there are numerous gang fights. And of course, the main source of income for many of them was pure extortion, so-called protection money.
The Act gave the authorities special powers to detain these people without trial.
You have an island where the detainees were free to roam around the island without any kind of fences, any kind of barriers to keep them away from others.
上到岛后，我看到那岛真的是很漂亮，因为我看前面、左边、右边全是茅墩，海边可以抓鱼，后来可以去跑运动。
In their gangster days, they were sworn enemies, but sweat and toil have brought them together as friends.
The experiment would actually require these detainees to help set up the infrastructures that they needed to survive on the island itself.
Although it was very, very hard work, they realized that life would be better than the alternative, which would have been an extremely overcrowded Changi prison, with all the squalor that would go with it.
There were over 300 former detainees who were released back into society with very few incidences of being repeat offenders. So can you count that as a success or not? I would say yes.
Fourteen detainees had been working all day in the heat, and they had asked for water, which had been refused them. So when they were still being forced to work, one of the detainees attacked the attendant. Then the other detainees also joined this, so the 14 actually attacked him and then fled into the jungle. In fact, they needed to call in the reserve unit to make sure that they could restore calm to the island. The event with the 14 rioters could have been the first hint of something much larger to come.
I met Mr. Dutton at the jetty around noon. He was inspecting the jetty and found it was unfinished. He demanded the carpenters return to finish their work, but they refused.
And this was on the grounds because it was a Saturday, so they were actually meant to be able to have rest days where they weren't working.
So Mr. Dutton told a clerk to prepare the charge sheets to send them all back to Changi. The men were marched down the jetty and put into a prison boat.
That incident brought together rioters from different gangs.
The detainees had worked out a hit list of those that they wanted to see punished, and this contained Dutton as the top of that list.
我哋啲家當真講家樓裏邊有人安排喺睇，伊就對到笑啦。伊講點解嚟？伊一滾就使生意接老滾做一個禮拜哦。
They went and picked up all the garden tools. Essentially, two major weapons were used: the chankles, the hoes, which are really a killer weapon, and the parangs, the machetes. And with that, they all went to their respective targets.
那些暴动的人喊来喊去 ，left right left right 冲来冲去。他们是从那个 dining room 打到 office 去了。
So Dutton ran into his office where he hid himself, closed the door, but the guys came up to where he was hiding.
有一颗乱洞扣一支水机的波头，另外一颗就扣一桶涂油。伊人就开始拿伊厝顶甲敲破一空，刷落来一颗就甲涂油淋对的空内面落去，流对下骹的流房，一点一支河牌。
突然间，那个达镇啊，他的 office 啊，他的屋子全部是火，很多火啊。那个门嘣，他跑出来，他叫很大声了。
And when he ran out, the chankos, the axes, and the parangs were used against him.
And he was butchered in a way so gruesome.
The whole of his office was burned. The living dormitories were all burned out. And it's like a war zone.
One of the killers, when he hurt Dutton, the blood of Dutton spilled on his t-shirt. They raised that as the mask. Dutton's blood became the mask on Pulau Senang.
海关什么检查后备队来，他们全部放回本。
You proved that redemption was possible through hard work, but you were dealing with some very hard-nosed people who, in the end, decided that your death was the only way to eradicate this.
Sleep tight, brother.